Get your freak on. Well, I'll get some shit today.
If you only list your vacation home on Airbnb, you'll get a couple who'll stay a couple of nights. But if you list it on Vrbo, you'll get Vrbo families who stay longer.
Stay tuned for the gardening section. All right, hello everybody. Welcome to Mystic Hawk Gardens, and I have a special treat for you guys. I needed to till in my garden, and we just had a big snow. And snow, when it melts into your garden, fixes a whole lot of nitrogen into the soil, which is awesome. Another thing that I do to enhance the nitrogen is coffee grounds. Yeah, and this needs to be tilled in. Coffee grounds are excellent source to recycle these is excellent source for nitrogen to put back in the soil. Not only that, the earthworms absolutely love it. So if you want to feed your earthworm friends, and yes, they are our friends in the garden, put some coffee grounds in there and give them something to eat. They love it. They absolutely do, and they're be coming up to the surface on these warm days. So I want to till all these coffee grounds in so the earthworms can have something to eat. And what I do is just dump it out. Dump it out right there in the garden. What I like to do with some of my leftovers, and I have some available, some garden crystals available, not many. So the but take some little crystals like this, little pieces. See, no need to throw these away or throw them out in the driveway where nothing grows. You want to put them. These are kind of like sacred little light seeds. They have wonderful energy. The plants seem to love them. I have now I haven't done an actual study, and I have a degree in plant science, and I guess I could do a study on it. But I have noticed personally that my plants absolutely love it. Oh shoot! Well, hold that thought. Well, I'll get back to you in a minute. So I have a little house plant over here. I'll be right back. There she is. She likes the shade, so I didn't want to leave her out in the sun. But see, if you notice in here, I have put all kind of little crystals. I transplanted this in November. Look how gorgeous it is. She absolutely loves her crystals, and this plant was pretty pitiful before I repotted it. And I even mixed some of these smaller crystals into the soil. You can do that. The smaller ones are good for potted plants, but you can use the big ones for gardens too. Okay, let me slow down the mouth motor here and get back to the thing. So that's good for potted plants. And even if you don't want to mix it in your soil, one of the things I do is just fill in the bottom. And I like that. I don't know if you can see that. So we have several. It just makes a little layer in the bottom. Really helps with the drainage. And again, the frequency and vibration. The plants love the good energy. Or you can mix it up in the soil, and you only need about a handful. So a pound or two of this can go quite a ways. All right. So what I'm gonna do, put these aside. I'm gonna take some of my bigger rocks that I have. This is probably about the medium size. There's a few large ones in here. We'll save those for the top. And I just kind of toss them in here. And I can till. A lot of times I'll go ahead and till. I'm just doing the hand tilling right now to get the coffee grounds mixed in really good. I've been working on this soil. These are raised beds. All my beds are organic. There's going to be carrots going in here probably after the 15th of February, just to make sure we don't have any of those big deep freezes. They can handle a little bit of freeze because carrots do that, but I was told the spirit to wait a few more days, so that's what I'm going to do. But today was a beautiful day, and I wanted to get this all mixed in. If you have some good organic fertilizer or anything, this is a good time to put that in as well, and just mix it in, especially if you have mulch on the top. One thing about mulch is that it it will take away from the nitrogen in the soil as it breaks down. A lot of people think mulch compost, but it actually takes a lot of the mycelium, the fungus that breaks the mulch down, that usually puts out the nitrogen into the soil, gets busy working on the mulch. So that's why I'm going to add a little extra nitrogen with the coffee grounds. Okay. All right. So basically that's it. And then again, take a few more of these crystals and just sprinkle them about, just to kind of give the roots that little extra love and energy with the intention you put them. Even though these don't have points, I do have garden crystals with points. They still put out a wonderful vibration. My plants love them. I wouldn't put them in my own garden if I didn't believe in it, and if I didn't like it. Right? If my plants didn't like it. Whew. It's not easy talking and working at the same time. But Spirit, I had to do the gardening. Spirit set me out here, and so that's what I'm doing. All right. So there you go. That's a little bit of gardening with the Mystic Hawk. Get a little horticulture knowledge with your reading today.
Tell me that wasn't fucking dope, dude. Tell me that wasn't dope. Planting with quartz crystals. Love it. Hydrogel. Jalapenos. You guys know what hydrogel is?
There's one simple hearing hack anyone can use to get rid of tinnitus in less.
So something I'm going to try is, got this bag of water crystals. They absorb water, they're a polymer, they hold water and release it as plants need. You add it to your soil. But what I want to do is use it as the media to grow and use it instead of soil, kind of like the coconut coir, kind of like peat moss, whatever soilless media you want to use. I've got just some clay pellets down here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some of these in here and a couple drops of this fertilizer, complete 1 part fertilizer, no need to add other stuff. Let the water absorb into the crystals with the fertilizer. Dump a bunch in here, maybe I'll layer it up with different rock layers so that in case anything shrinks down between waterings, it's not as much of an issue. And we'll see if we can grow a plant. So here's kind of the breakdown of the nutrients. Pretty much everything a plant would need. This is very concentrated, so I'm just going to put about a drop or two. Big drop, 2. Okay. The cap back on here. Now I will put some water in here. Make sure it gets absorbed. Make sure the nutrients are nice and dissolved. So this comes with a scooper. And we're just going to arbitrarily put in amounts of these crystals until it looks like there's plenty. Yeah, I'll do 3 scoops, and then we'll stir it around. We basically want to get these all get this to the point where it's all just a big ball of jelly. We're feeling we're going to need a lot more. It's a little bit thicker. These are supposed to become clear and pretty much invisible to see in the water once they're fully absorbed. After a few minutes, this is what we got. Just a bowl full of unflavored tapioca jello kind of stuff. And to add more water, and it looks like some of these still are a little opaque. and might need some more water. We'll see. Pebbles are also really good at spreading out moisture. So by layering this, I feel like it'll buffer. Now we've got a little jalapeno plant. Just enough where the roots are coming in. Little bit of algae. No worries. So what I'm gonna do is just make a, ooh, this stuff feels weird. Put that in there like that. Stand it up. And ladle around. What are you doing today? I'm just ladling around. Roll around. Oh, we lost a leaf. Now to finish off this recipe, a dusting of garnish.
Cocaine.
Mainly also using these on top so that algae growth doesn't occur as much as I expected it will.
Come to Culver's
Yeah,
and treat someone you love to a meal they're sure to love.
I don't think that was very informative. Yo, what's happening, Diane Green, baby? What up, what up, what up? Grow crystals at home. Does this really work? Electroculture. Large and juicy plants. Let's check it out.
Most people have no clue that in 2023, the best way to make money on Amazon is
Smart.
not.
Pozdrav, dobri moji pratioci kanala Hrana za telo.
Yeah.
Današnji video biće prvi video serijala na temu
What the fuck? English. God damn it. English. Growing a crystal to Billie Eilish music. Fine. How would that work? How would they grow a crystal to music? How to put in cucumber plants. Growing bismuth crystals. Quartz crystals can bonsai. You guys ever seen this person? How do quartz crystals work? How do crystals work? Crystals and plants.
Hello and welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Courtney, and today's video is all about crystals and plants. I have slowly been collecting more houseplants, and I have been loving experimenting with certain crystals for certain plant needs. I thought this would be a fun video to kind of share what I've discovered with these plant and crystal combos. So in today's video, I'm going to go over 6 crystals that'll help your plants live their best life. So currently I have 5 houseplants. I have a snake plant, I have a cactus, I have a money tree, I have a philodendron, and I also have a very thirsty Hoya.
Hoya!
When me and my boyfriend moved into our apartment at the beginning of 2020, we were really excited to brighten up our space with some greenery. So for him, his plant child is definitely the philodendron, and my plant children, the ones that I favor, are the Hoya and the money tree. Sorry, snake plant and cactus. I actually didn't start working with crystals with my plants. I didn't, put them in the soil or like program an intention with my plants and my crystal, right away. It actually was something that happened when my philodendron, or our philodendron, started to have some issues. It's definitely been like the problem child out of all of our houseplants. And it kind of sparked this idea to, maybe we should incorporate some crystals to help the health of our plants get more healthy. That's really what started this experiment off. So now going into some crystals that'll really help your plants, depending on your plant needs. I have a bunch of different scenarios based off my experience, but I will say all of the crystals on this list are really wonderful for any plant. So if you have one of these crystals, you can use them for all your plants. These are just some ideas for you to get inspiration from. So without further ado, let's get into these crystals. Alrighty, so let's start off with my cactus and snake tree houseplants. They are both succulents. So when I was choosing a stone to pair with them, I really had, this water aspect in mind. And the crystal that I use with my succulents is sodalite. Sodalite actually has a high amount of sodium that makes up the stone. So you really don't want to get this stone wet when you are watering your plant. I make sure to take it out when I do water it, and then I wait until the soil isn't super damp, and then I'll place it back in the pot. I kind of felt like the whole salt aspect with sodalite was a really good pairing with the succulents because you really don't water them that often. I mean, it's like once a month. So I thought, putting sodalite in the soil would help just absorb all that water that's in there for a long amount of time. If I had pink halite, I would also, experiment with another salty crystal, but I personally think sodalite is wonderful to pair with any like cacti or succulent houseplant.
Why is this raised bed garden struggling and this one over here is exploding with peppers and greens and tomatoes, and I can hardly keep up with it? Well, the gardens are the same size. I planted the exact same starts in both of them at the same time, and I even used the same soil, but there's one key difference. This one over here is a regular old raised bed. Meanwhile, this one over here behind me is called the Tiny Green Monster Machine. And so there's a secret with this one. This is a special 3-layer gardening system that uses Tiny Green Monsters. And the Tiny Green Monsters are really the magic behind why this one is growing so prolifically and this one is just struggling along. Even though we've been watering this one every single day, this one needs to be watered only a couple times per month, and yet the growth is just off the charts. I planted this parsley. It's going to seed here because it's really hot out, and the parsley over here is just exploding. This pepper plant's got one little dinky pepper on it. Meanwhile, its brother over here is just falling over because there's so many peppers. I already pulled a big one off of this, and it just produces like crazy. This cherry tomato is, I don't know, half a dozen tomatoes on it. Same variety planted at the same time in the Tiny Green Monster Machine is just exploding. Look at this. There's so much on it. I've already been pulling off so many ripe tomatoes on it. And we got this beefsteak tomato. It's doing all right. It's got a couple here, a couple there. Now look at the difference with its counterpart over here. Wow, look at this. These tomatoes are so big. They're ripening up perfectly. Look at that huge one right there. And finally, we got the acorn squash. So this thing is doing okay. It's got one little acorn squash there, one here. Same variety planted at the same time. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and there's a couple little ones on the way. Here's one right there, and a couple more coming in. So there's just no comparison with this. You can see how prolific it's growing in comparison to the raised bed. So if you want epic growth like this from the Tiny Green Monster Machine, I'll show you exactly how it works. Just click the link in this video. I'll send you a training video showing you step by step how to put something together like this, so you never have to struggle again with a raised bed that just doesn't make the cut. So I'm James Fry with Grow Everywhere. So excited to show you this amazing, powerful method.
Alrighty, so for our next
great.
crystal, this is like an
Good
all
man.
around
What up, what up?
wonderful crystal to have around you and your plants,
That
and
work?
that is green apophyllite.
Yeah.
So the energy of green apophyllite is very refreshing to plants, just like it is for us humans. It increases the flow of life force energy. This crystal really helps us build communication with nature spirits, and this definitely can relate to the plant kingdom. So this is another crystal that you want to avoid getting wet, and it is pretty fragile. So personally, what I like to do is I'll place this green apophyllite next to my Hoya. I have it outside the pot. It's just literally facing my Hoya, just giving it that good, refreshing energy. If you have an area in your home where maybe you have a bunch of plants lined up, incorporating like a green apophyllite stone like on that shelf or near that table, however your setup is, it's really going to increase the flow of energy to those plants. And also, not to mention, like, it really increases the flow of energy in you. So if you have some plants kind of next to your workspace or something, this stone is honestly so good for us. Apophyllite is one of my favorites. So getting some green apophyllite is definitely beneficial for someone who is really into plants and really into their own kind of like energy. So this next crystal, I'm actually such a huge fan of. I love incorporating this stone in all of my plants, but more specifically, I love incorporating this stone with my money tree, and that is green tree agate. Green tree agate is known for its stability, to be able to weather the storm, to have our roots planted deep in the ground. If you have like a bonsai plant or a fig tree or any kind of tree, kind of like house plant, I feel like this stone is wonderful to pair with. You can place it in the soil and it's totally okay to get wet. Green tree agate is very closely related to moss agate, which has a long history of farmers really utilizing moss agate to ensure a fruitful season ahead. They would toss moss agate on their crops to really, set the intention of a fruitful season. And I feel like this definitely is the case with green tree agate. Honestly, it's one of my favorite stones to work with personally, and also with my plants. My money tree loves working with green tree agate. All right, so let's dive into a crystal that is very well known for being helpful with plants. It is known as the master healer, and that is clear quartz. If your plant needs help, like my philodendron, or maybe you need to repot your plant, or maybe you need to take off a piece that's dead, you got a dead branch or whatever it may be, putting some clear quartz in the soil is really going to help the rehabilitation of that plant, getting it back to a healthy state. Like I said, clear quartz is known as the master healer, for everything, for us and for plants. If your plant is going through a hard time, maybe, I don't know, whatever your case may be, getting some clear quartz, this is like the easiest stone to really set an intention with, put it in the soil. It's totally fine to get wet, and, send it those rehabilitating vibes. My plant is getting healthier, my plant is getting greener. Really set an intention and experiment with clear quartz and your plants, because honestly, it really does work. All right, so this next crystal on the list, I feel like is a little bit random. I'm not really sure if this is a common crystal to pair with your plants, but I kind of intuitively chose to work with this stone in my plant, and that is malachite. I don't know, I feel like I was just really attracted to the greenness of malachite, and I thought, this would be really cool to experiment with. Green malachite, or malachite in general, is well known for, heart health and just health overall. So I think I kind of was thinking, it has these healthy vibes. I feel like it would be really good to keep in the soil with my Hoya plant. So my Hoya always has malachite in it. One thing about malachite is you don't want to get it wet. So every time I water my Hoya, I make sure to take out the malachite, wait till the soil isn't so damp, and then I'll place it back inside. My Hoya plant is literally like the thirstiest plant ever. If I don't water it like every 2 days, it just curls instantly. So malachite's been a good kind of like stable energy to keep my Hoya, bright, bouncy and beautiful. Alrighty, so the last crystal on our list, certainly not the least, is chlorite phantom quartz. Chlorite phantom quartz is highly attuned to the plant kingdom. They resonate to the heartbeat of the earth. Because of this, I have been experimenting with having this stone next to all of my plants.
If you feed your dog dry food, stop and do this instead. This is raw, unprocessed meat after 1 week. And this is dog kibble after 5 years. Ever wonder what they're putting in it to make it last that long on the shelf? For a while, I didn't know either. And once I did, I knew that that stuff should not be in a dog's body. But first, what are these ingredients and how did they get into our dog's food? After decades of caring for and treating my
This stone is super small, super tiny, and I've been really utilizing it with every plant in my home because this crystal deeply resonates with the plant kingdom and the earth. I think that this is the absolute best crystal to work with your plants. If you are like the plant whatever, like you're just known as the plant person, like you nurse plants back to health, you have a green thumb, whatever it may be, honestly, investing in a stone like this is going to be amazing for you because not only will it continue, your awesomeness with plants, but you're going to have like an even deeper connection with your plants. I would love to get a really huge, big tower of chlorite phantom quartz and have it somewhere in my home where I keep all my plants, maybe in the back over there or next to my philodendron, somewhere like that. I feel like this is such a beautiful decor piece that you can place next to your plants that also really vibes well with your plants. So if I had to pick my top favorite on this list, chlorite phantom quartz is definitely number 1. Alrighty guys, so that is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed learning about these crystal and plant.
Yeah, I hope you enjoyed that shit. Cause that's fucking dope. That's what we do here, man. Alright, what happened? What happened? What's happening here? It's moving on its own. It's got its own mind. What florists don't tell you. Plant bananas in your garden. Here's what happens. Plant this before planting your fruit tree. Using moisture crystals. What happens when you put copper wire through your tomato stems? You don't get slugs. This guy, how to plant potatoes and get a lot big tubers. Air plant crystals. Those are cool. How we grow a massive garden and really have to water. Rarely have to water. My gardener. It's my guy. It's my guy, man. Electric cultures for beginners. With that piezoelectricity. Growing plants with jelly water balls. That's cool, eh? Water crystals. Dubai roaches, water beads. Growing plants with crystals. Let's go back to the search. Let's see what we got. Planting with quartz. Maybe we can find some off of this.
7 words you pronounce wrong 90 days before your brain starts shutting down. Dementia is now...
Hey Binks, welcome back to my channel. As you know, today we're talking about the best, most powerful crystals for your garden. And as well as crystals, we also talk about on this channel spirituality, self-development, the crazy things that go on in our mind, in the world, and so much more. So if you're into any of that, be sure to subscribe so you can find my channel just a little bit easier. So to start out talking about crystals, Crystals aren't just a new age spiritual thing. They've been used for thousands and thousands of years by Native Americans and many other cultures around the world. So getting started with our crystals, what are the best ones to use in your garden? The most powerful one I definitely want to suggest to you and you should really have in your collection is simply clear quartz. It's the most versatile. You can literally tell it to basically do anything. It's an energy amplifier, so any energy that you put into that crystal, it's really going to help amplify that, whether you are specific as healing, whether you're specific as being fruitful, growing big, full, and luscious and beautiful.
Julie!
Whatever energy that you put into the crystal and then you dedicate the crystal to do,
water,
is also important.
water. Yo, is your address still the same, Julie?
Is how you need its help. So whatever you tell it to do, it's going to amplify that energy. Another powerful crystal for your garden is green aventurine. I personally just have a bracelet of it, but this is what it looks like. It's great at absorbing negativity, reducing any stress that the plant goes through. So it's really
healer right there.
in reducing transplant shock. So green aventurine is really great for if you just transplanted a plant into the garden or into a pot, in a bigger pot, whatever it is, to put that green aventurine with it to help calm that stress and that transplant shock. It's also really great for promoting abundant growth because green aventurine is a crystal of abundance. So it's going to help it grow nice, great, big, and full, and be very fruitful and abundant. The next powerful crystal for gardening that I want to talk to you about is tiger's eye. It promotes harmony as well as
not like your brown eye
growth. It also promotes success in your garden. So again, a good harvest. It's going to keep your healthy and just help them grow big and strong. Other powerful crystals for gardening include anything that's black. So like this big black tourmaline that I have here, obsidian, or black onyx. Anything that's black is really going to help because again, that's going to help absorb the negative energies that's around it. It's going to help protect it. And as weird as it might sound, black stones confuse and repel pests. So if you have those types of problems in your garden or in your pots in your home, definitely pick a black stone to put with those to help kind of just confuse and repel pests. It sounds weird, but it's something. So try it out. If you're getting value out of this video, please let me know by giving it a thumbs up down below so I can know to keep making more videos like this. That we can just plop them on top, but you can also plant them underneath the soil.
And stay tuned for the gardening section. All right, hello everybody, welcome.
Men over 50 whose prostate is choking their urethra need to see this. Here's a picture of my dad from the end of last year when his prostate problems were making him miserable. So this right here is him around the holidays. He was really down and just not his usual self because his man gland had gotten so bad. But get ready for this. This is my dad now. He's a military man, so he
I don't know. Y'all don't know. Ooh, smell that. Don't know. Yeah. Don't know. Yeah. The only way. Well, there's your way. Of course. We lived there for a while, so you understand how plants work. What they do. You see it. You see the tetrahedron. You see the tetrahedron, the honeycomb. You see it. I told you. Cannabis plants, cellular structures, and tetrahedron. With that knowledge, unlock it. That's all you need to know. But it's molecular structure. Yeah. We got no picture. telling you, does it? I don't know much, but I know I love you. Yeah. I like something.
And stay tuned for the gardening section.
So I don't know how to get to this
And
part.
stay tuned for the gardening
I gotta go
section.
here.
All right, hello.
Check this out.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Rockin' Crystals channel, and today we are going to be taking a look at some of the best crystals that you can find for your garden. Because when spring comes, many people look forward to being in their gardens, especially after a long winter. Even if you don't know much about gardening, it can be pretty easy to get started as long as you stick with plants that are easy to grow and give them adequate water and light. Fertilizers, organic plant foods, and composting can give your plants an extra boost to survive and thrive. Some of the people like to sing their plants or put statues or gnomes and fairies in gardens, and other such things such as feng shui techniques can help to create a good energy in the garden. And you can learn which plants grow best together to create that special sort of synergistic harmony. Now, crystals can also be used as a part of your gardening endeavors. You can use crystals to bring specific energies into your garden and help your plants grow and stay strong. Both plants and crystals come from the earth, so they will work harmoniously together to achieve a certain sort of symbiotic balance. Working with crystals in your garden can also help to activate your energy and intentions and help you to connect with nature in a deeper and more profound way. Think of gardening as a meditation or a spiritual practice where you are mindful and enjoy each motion and movement with the purpose of intention. You can then use just one type of crystal or a variety of crystals depending on your own personal collection and availability. It then works very much like setting up a crystal grid. The following are some of the best crystals to implement into your garden. Green Adventurine is a crystal that helps take pressure and strain off of the environment. It's a protective stone that will help protect plants from the effects of pollution, be it electromagnetic or otherwise. A crystal of prosperity can also help your garden grow abundantly, assisting plants in thriving within their environment. Clear quartz crystal is a wonderful and practical crystal for just about everything. You can program crystal quartz with the intention for a thriving garden, and then watch as it helps to unfold that intention before your eyes. Now, tree agate is a crystal that holds Earth's energy within and brings it safely to a state of stability within your garden. It helps your garden grow with positivity and promotes perseverance. So if your garden isn't in ideal conditions, this would be the perfect crystal to help your garden grow and thrive. Rhyolite is the perfect stone for a succulent garden, such as a cactus or other type of succulent plants. It's a balancing stone that will help the energy of your garden shift into a more harmonious and nurturing state. Green calcite is a stone that holds the energy of fertility, and it's a perfect stone for balance within a garden. It also has an energy that is very encouraging, helping your plants to grow strong and bountiful. Moss agate, known as the gardener's talisman, since it is a stone of birth and fertility. This agate is is green like the plants of the earth, so it can help to stimulate the production of plants and maintain their steady growth. Use one or more of these crystals in your garden or even in your houseplants to see them grow hearty and strong. You can also make crystal grids within your garden pots or within your garden area to activate even more powerful energy that will bring abundance and a lush garden for you to enjoy all season long. Consider dropping a like on this video if you liked it. It really helps this channel to grow, and subscribe if you're interested in learning more about crystals, because we are going to be talking about different crystals every single day. And if you're looking to buy crystals and gemstones, check out our Rockin' Crystal shop, linked in the description below. It definitely helps to support this channel when you shop for crystals at our shop. And lastly, we are doing the crystal giveaway from our Rockin' Crystal shop. Every time we upload a new video, you are allowed to enter into our crystal giveaway contest.
Let's do that. Hi, everybody. How you doing? I just got done downloading a new video on our High Hopes Garden. Yeah, you should go check it out.
Crystals for plant growth.
Crystals for plant growth. Yes, I can play the next video.
You gotta make the one screen smaller.
Let's, yeah, I know. All right, let's see.
It's on the left, right-hand side there.
Yeah, I see it. I'm pretty versed in what's going on over here. I got it. All right, let's see here. That's electroculture gardening. Do. Did we watch this one? I don't know if we watched that one. Yeah, they're not all crystal related though. I didn't go back at all. Yep.
If you only list your vacation home on Airbnb.
Hello, beautiful souls. Thank you so much for joining me here on my channel. My name is Lynn Lewis, and for this month's crystal vlog, I wanted to actually do something a little different because we are in the spring season, and I found myself thinking about this when I was putting these particular crystals near my plants. In this video, we're going to talk about great crystals to use if you're a green thumb individual. Perhaps you might also be a green witch, or an individual who just loves your plants and you want to see how else you can make them thrive. These crystals I particularly use personally on all my plants around the house. If you can think of any more crystals that you personally use or you've heard of, feel free to comment below and let me know. I'm really curious because I love getting crystals for my plants. So without further ado, let's get started. Now, I'm not sure how many individuals out there, especially if you're a crystal and plant lover, actually thought about perhaps, using crystals with your plants. I'm sure many of you, haven't even thought about it. I know for the longest time I haven't. And when I started to think about it, it became kind of like an aha moment. Like, why not? Why not have crystals for plants? Crystals come from the earth. They come from Mother Gaia, so why not, right? So these particular crystals we're going to talk about, the first one we're going to talk about is the crystal known as aragonite. Now, aragonite comes in a couple different forms. Most people are familiar with aragonite coming in its traditional brownish red form. You might find aragonite, in any local metaphysical shop. It's a very common crystal, but what a lot of people, I don't believe, understand.
Let me see if
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Rockin' Crystals channel, and today we are going to be taking a look at some of the best crystals that you can find for your
fungus gnat
garden.
killer.
Because when spring comes, many people look forward to being
Great
in their
crystals
gardens,
plant.
especially
Oh yeah,
after a long winter. Even if you don't know much about gardening, it can be pretty
Old
easy to get
Texas
started as long as you stick with plants that are easy
cool
to grow and give
crystals.
them adequate water and light.
And
Fertilizers, organic plant
crystal
foods, and
of
composting
silent
can give
wisdom.
your plants an extra
Electroculture
boost to
gardening.
survive and to thrive. Some of the people like to sing their plants or put statues or gnomes and fairies in gardens, and other such things such as feng shui techniques can help to create a good energy in the garden, and you can learn which plants grow best together to create that special sort of synergistic harmony. Now, crystals can also be used as a part of your gardening endeavors. You can use crystals to bring specific energies into your garden and help your plants grow and stay strong. Both plants and crystals come from the earth, so they will work harmoniously together to achieve a certain sort of symbiotic balance. Working with crystals in your garden can also help to activate your...
NASA scientists just cracked the code on how to lose weight and keep it off. After studying the man with the...
I have a completely black thumb. I'm killing everything. I've given up. When do I call in the magic?
Right here.
Hey everyone, welcome to the show. And my name is Amanda Gates, and today what I wanted to do is talk about how you can add crystals to boost the health and vitality of your garden. I actually wrote a blog post about this, I don't know, like maybe 4 or 5 years ago. It was called The 7 Crystals to Heal Your Garden. It's actually one of the top articles on Google. If you put that in, how to boost your garden, it's one of the #1 blog posts that comes up. I don't know if it's because a lot of people haven't talked about it or if it's just a really great post. We'll go with that, right? We'll go with it that it's great. But what I wanted to do is just a follow-up, because I've always used crystals in my own garden. And in fact, I actually have a lemon Meyer tree right now that's not doing so well. She's actually pretty sick. I had a manifestation of aphids and ants and all kinds of things kind of take over her. And so I started putting neem oil on her, and apparently she didn't like that. She lost all of her leaves, and I thought, uh-oh, I'm in trouble. So I actually programmed some of my crystals, put those in there in her pot, and lo and behold, she started to grow new leaves. So I saved her. So I wanted to share with you today some additional crystals. I would encourage you to go back and check out my other blog post. It is called 7 Healing Crystals to Boost Your Garden. You can go to my website at gatesinteriordesign.com and just type that into the search bar and that will pull up. I'll also put the link of that below so that you can check that out. But today what I wanted to talk about is some additional crystals that you can put in your garden beds, whether you have an apartment, a condo, maybe a small patio area, or half an acre. Whatever it is, you can utilize stones in your space to enhance not only the vibration and the frequency to help them thrive and bring them health and vitality, but they're also beautiful. The interior designer in me loves to add crystals to my own garden because they're pretty. And it is such a great thing to know that they're multitasking and helping your plants. And I also want to mention, I've done a blog post on this very video as well. And I've put together this great graphic that has all of the stones that I'm going to be talking about today, so that if you want to have a quick start guide, you have it. And you'll also notice that I left my windows and my doors open today so that you can hear the birds chirping. And this is important to me. I don't know if many of you who follow my channel or watch my videos know, but I actually have a book called Easy Everyday Habits to Be More Eco-Friendly. And so you can find that on Amazon. I'll put the link of that below as well. But crystals are a great all-natural way to bring health and vitality to your garden without using chemicals and without using pesticides and things that harm our water table. So being eco-friendly when we are enhancing our gardens is incredibly close to my heart, and that's why I wanted to share this with you. So the first one that I wanted to share with you is just good old basic quartz crystal. If you look on the sheet that I put on the blog post, I have quartz crystal as the first one. And the reason that I put this as the first one is because if you're completely new to crystals, know nothing about them, you're terrified of them, this is a great place to start. This is the Master Healing Stone. And this stone can be placed in the garden bed. It does well in sun and outdoors, and the dirt doesn't harm it. But you can program this. Just simply say, my lemon Meyer is not doing well. Please help her. So that's exactly what I did with this. It's actually got dirt all over it because she has been in my lemon mire pot for about 3 weeks now, I would say. And that's when she started to manifest those new leaves. So this is definitely a great place to start. The second one that I would look into is a stone called green calcite. This is great because it removes negativity, and it's ideal if you have a space that's too loud, whether you live in the city or if you have plants that are in an area, like let's say you have a factory next door, or maybe you live close to a commercial area that produces a lot of noise, that produces a lot of vibrations, and that can stress your plants out. So using green calcite, you can just put those in the pots or put those in the ground, and this helps calm them down. Just make sure that you program them. And what that means is you just tell them what to do. You're basically telling that energy what to do, where to go, and how to help your plant.
On every full moon, I go and
The third option that I always love is malachite. And I talk a lot about malachite on my blog. I talk about malachite in my podcast, and I've also done videos on malachite because it's such a great stone. Malachite was used by the ancient Egyptians because it was a fertility stone. It would bring health and vitality to their crops, and it ensured that they would have a fruitful harvest. In addition, the reason why I like malachite so much is we have so much technology now, right? We've got 5G coming, and so we're blanketed in EMF and technology and just ick in our air. Malachite is actually excellent to remove and diffuse that. And I've actually had examples in my own life where I had plants that were below the electrical panel. I used to have a garage that had the electrical panel for my home on it. And the plants below, I had hostas down there. They weren't doing well. They were struggling. I had them for 5 years, and they never quite came up very strong. On the other side of the path, I had hostas. They flourished. As soon as I put malachite down there, they started to do well. I programmed the stone to tell it to shield it, to protect it, and allow it to thrive through the EMF, and it did. So that's one of the reasons why I love malachite so much. My all-time favorite stone, in addition to the clear quartz, if you want to just start small and you don't know where to start, is moss agate. This is the talisman for all gardeners because this is considered the gardener's stone. Moss agate is not only a great connector to your plants, so it allows you to open up communication with them, but this has incredible earth energy to it. So by placing this, these are dirty too. This has actually been in, I have a tree named Astrid, and she is a maple, and I've had these stones in there with her to help her thrive and to help her have strength and vitality. But moss agate is great because it helps bring out your green thumb. So if you're really intimidated by a garden and you're really intimidated about growing things, these are great stones to add to your garden so that it makes you look like you're kick ass at gardening and you have a green thumb. So it's a little bit of a fun way to put some magic in your garden and add and boost your plants, you know, that makes it look like you know what you're doing and maybe you don't. So that's why I love that. And then rose quartz, which I've got the Mac Daddy one here. Hopefully I can lift this massive beauty. Isn't she gorgeous? Her name is actually Aphrodite. I actually have a smaller piece of rose quartz here on my altar. You don't need one as big as Aphrodite, but rose quartz is a beautiful stone of love. And she connects us to the Mother Earth love, the unconditional love. And it's great for your plants because we have to remember that they too have consciousness. They have energy fields around them. And so they, just like us, get stressed and they are affected by our environment. And so these crystals can really help with that, help protect them, strengthen them, and just give them that little extra boost that they may need to be healthy. I also want to mention that I recently had Ben Hale on my podcast. He was actually a bonus audio for May, And May 2019, just in case somebody watches this a little bit later, May 2019, you can go back and look up the podcast on home energy design. But I mention him because he's got this company called Easy Living Yards, and you can find him online. I'll include those links below as well. But he's got all of these fantastic free resources on how to care for a garden that maybe you have the all-American dream of a 1/4 acre, to everything down to an apartment that has no outdoor space, but maybe has a window where you can grow herbs. He also has some fantastic tips. If you are truly intimidated by gardening and you really don't know where to start and you're intimidated by growing anything because you're fearful that you're going to kill it, he has some fantastic tips on plants that you can get started with that are guaranteed not to die. And I encourage all of you to start a garden, no matter what amount of space you may have. You may be watching this and going, oh, I live in a high rise, I have no space at all. But the thing is that having a garden really just connects us to the natural rhythms of life. It really connects us to Mama Earth, and we care for it. It makes us feel great. It uplifts our chi. It's been scientifically proven that if you've had a really bad day, if you're anxious, if you're stressed out, if you just go spend time in nature, it's going to immediately boost your mood. It's going to immediately fluff your chi. So if you can have that within your home or just outside your home, if you've had a bad day and you can go putter around in your garden, it's going to make you feel better. And it's going to connect you to those natural rhythms. It's actually great for your circadian rhythms. If you don't sleep well, maybe you experience a lot of insomnia, or if you're anxious all the time, it will help calm your parasympathetic nervous system down so that you feel better. Who doesn't want more of that, right? So I encourage all of you to do that. And the other thing is too, as I mentioned earlier, one of the things that I love about crystals is just they're beautiful. The interior designer in me loves the beauty that crystals add to a garden combined.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Rockin' Crystals channel. And today we are going to be taking a look at some of the best crystals that you can find for your garden. Because when spring comes, many people look forward to being in their gardens, especially after a long winter.
And stay tuned for the gardening section. All right, hello everybody. Welcome to Mystic Hawk Gardens, and I have a special treat for you guys. I needed to till in my garden, and we just had a big snow. And snow, when it melts into your garden, fixes a whole lot of nitrogen into the soil, which is awesome. Another thing that I do to enhance the nitrogen is coffee grounds. Yeah, and this needs to be tilled in.
Hi, my name is Tina, and today we are
Hi,
on
Tina.
episode 6 of the Powers of Crystals and Tektites, where we will be talking about garden quartz, which is also known as the Shaman Dreamstone or Phantom Quartz. Garden quartz is a clear.
And stay tuned for the gardening section. All right, hello everybody. Welcome to Mystic Hawk Gardens, and I have a special treat for you guys. I needed to till in my garden, and we just had a big snow. And snow, when it melts into your garden, fixes a whole lot of nitrogen into the soil, which is awesome. Another thing that I do to enhance the nitrogen is coffee grounds.
Hey, you forgot. Look,
and this needs to be tilled in. Coffee grounds are an excellent source to recycle these is excellent source for nitrogen to put back in the soil. Not only that, the earthworms absolutely love it. So if you want to feed your earthworm friends, and yes, they are our friends in the garden, put some coffee grounds in there and give them something to eat. They love it. They absolutely.
Hello everybody, welcome to Pearls of Wisdom. In this little video I will share with you how I make those crystal antennas. Many of you know that I have started
See, when she says the word witch, it'll sound like vitch, because that's how it was. VVI, VVICH. Oh, whoops. See what
I
you
think
got.
it was in February, to work with electroculture. And a lot has developed in this time, and it is really absolutely fantastic, the experience that I had. It is really very powerful how this works, and I want to share a little bit more with
Share
you
it.
about that.
Tell us. You're live.
Okay, so here we go. You can see the picture now. This is a picture of finished crystal antennas, and I would like to give you a little bit background how that whole thing started. So I really started very simple. You see, this is a little chopstick, and I put it in one of my mint plants that were both about little the same. And already after 4 days, I could see a very, very big difference, that this plant here was just shooting and growing very, very fast. So here is the first picture again here, and this is 10 days later. I had then put see the little chopsticks. I just used different ones. Here is here and is here inside, and they just absolutely grew like crazy. It was really fun. And then when I had my flowers, I had last year in October, November, I replanted. We made these new things here for flowers because of the flower essence workshop that we had. We did make our own flower essences, like, you know, Bach flower remedies. We have our own Asian flower remedies by now. And they were blooming beautifully, but you know, then usually about in February, this is when they go down and they're not so beautiful anymore. And this was also one of the first tries I started to put the antennas inside of those here, and the other ones, they didn't have any. And you can see the big difference between those who had antennas and those who didn't. Here I have already put the little chopstick inside, and the very interesting thing is that they had seed and they regrew, but not with so many flowers. They are more like the wild flowers. These are zinnia. This is a kind of sunflower. This is what they call periwinkle, and these are gosh, I cannot remember the names of the flowers. I just love the flowers, but with the name is a bit difficult sometimes.
That's not the one.
I don't remember what it's in German, in English. And here I had some cannabis. And these are just cuttings, you know. I just cut it from the plants and put it in. You know, when I put that, usually that is like after 1-2 days, they all limp very much. They never did limp. They just actually made beautiful roots, and they grew very, very nice. So, and another thing is I have mulberries. And the mulberries this year, they looked like this. They were very not so nice. It was very, very dry. And so I put the stick. See here, you see the stick. I put the little black electrotape around it because the wire I use is quite thin. So it fixates it. It holds it. And then I let just straight like an antenna up. You can also whirl it and do all kind of things with them. It's perfect. And already after a very short time, you see here actually I can enlarge that. You see the buds. Here is nothing. And then here the buds are coming up, and already a few days later I had how was it? It was actually there in the center. They had a few berries, but later, I tell you, I have the harvest. This was absolutely fantastic. Now we come to the antenna. You saw the picture first. So what I do is I have here very simple muffin silicone mold. So I put some copper. This is powder that I had bought some time ago. And then I just make this with with the copper wire put it together for 6, because I put 6 crystals and the one in the center. And then I add the crystals around it first, the 6 crystals around it, and just pull those out, that when I put the epoxy afterwards, you can see here is ready with epoxy here, I put inside. This is also the resin, or here they call it hot glue. And then I put the double ender crystal I put inside, and I put some of this epoxy and leave it for 24 hours at least. This is one that I made that has no wires yet, that I added them and then turned around later. I had several tries that I did, and you see here that I have those. The first lot I made, I did wire later, but I have experienced that it's better to wire first, the energy stronger, which I usually test out with the rod. And you can see here also is a lot of copper powder inside. So this will give you this piezoelectric effect. And when you test them out, they are very strong. So this is how it looks afterwards when you take it out. I call them my crystal muffins. And then I wire them, these ones, see? This you can see inside the wire. This is the first picture that I showed you. And then it goes down, and I put it all together so that I later can put it inside the bamboo stick. Because the first one I made without epoxy, we had quite a storm, and the crystal fell. The crystal did not make it to stay straight. So when you can fix it with something like this, like epoxy or another good glue, it's much better because it's more solid. So you see here at the bottom, I have the wires and I put them together. So that is looking here. I have the 6 inside, and then in addition, I take another double wire that I put around the crystal to make it more powerful. So you see these antennas look a little bit like that. I had different strength of wire. We tested it out, and it actually does not make a big difference between the more thick and the more thin wire. They are just very minimal differences. And then what I had a friend helping me here. I made with this is a copper sheet that he cut and made me a hole here below. So I can put in these, see, that's the way I have these crystal antennas, and I put that part. Now you understand why I twist them together at the bottom. Then I can easily put them inside here. It is very important if you do that you sand at the bottom a little bit to take off the epoxy, that it is in contact with the wire. And then when it's inside, I use it, you know, this children dough where children play with. And I put that very solid that I can put the epoxy here inside, that it holds. And this is what I do then. I put them in old bottles. And I have the epoxy I pour inside here. I lift it first a little bit. And then I put the epoxy, make a double check, lift it up, double check that the little children dough is holding, and then I fill it up here so that everything is really holding stable. So see, this is more or less how it looks afterwards. This is stable inside here, and I have the wire on the back side. You can see it here. And I can still, this is the first one I made actually, and I still wrapped it afterwards around on the bottom, on the top here, the crystal, and pull it down. Always it has to touch the copper so that the piezoelectro effect is working. And then I had the 3 meter bamboo stick. I have a ladder going up to the attic, and I just put some nails and fix it there so that I can work from above. So if you have a second floor, or you have to put them somewhere, when you make with 3 meters, but you can also make it smaller. And I wrap around something that in case when the epoxy goes down a little bit, that it doesn't matter, because you know that the hollow part of the bamboo here is like the upper part that starts here. I fill with epoxy, and I have one wire that I wrap around the bottom that comes out, that I afterwards connect to the one that I connect to the soil, the grounding. Unfortunately, this picture is not very clear, but you can see better here. The bamboo, no, the bamboo is hollow here. So I put first the epoxy inside here, and then I put this one with the wire that comes out on the one side. And then it looks like this. So I have wired, you see here the copper here, and then you see here that it goes all the way down to the bottom, that is connected from here like an antenna, really literally like an antenna, that you can see here again come down all the way down to the bottom. Then I put it in the soil. You see here on top is the antenna. Here I have on this piece of land where I live now, and I have an orchard in the back with lots of little trees. I have 4 put up already, 2 more to go. And so this is really how it looks. You see here the crystals are coming out of the epoxy. They are white, they are wrapped also with copper. And then this is the big one that comes down, and it's all connected. You see here the spiral all the way down into the soil.
Yeah, man. The copper wire got.
So these are the last 2 that I made, and I have 2 more to do. So it will be a really powerful energy, and this will help you to energize and harmonize and balance, and also bring peace to the area that you can use where you live. I think it is very important that we do things like that.
Stay tuned
She's
for
dope.
the gardening section.
Gotcha.
All right, hello everybody. Welcome to Mystic Hawk Gardens, and I have a special treat for you guys. I needed to till in my garden, and we just had a big snow. And snow, when it melts into your garden, fixes a whole lot of nitrogen into the soil, which is awesome. Another thing that I do to enhance the nitrogen is coffee grounds. Yeah, and this needs to be tilled in. Coffee grounds are excellent source to recycle. These is excellent source for nitrogen to put back in the soil. Not only that, the earthworms absolutely love it. So if you want to feed your earthworm friends, and yes, they are our friends in the garden, put some coffee grounds in there and give them something to eat. They love it. They absolutely do. And they'll be coming up to the surface on these warm days. So I want to till all these coffee grounds in so the earthworms can have something to eat. And what I do is just dump it out right there in the garden. What I like to do with some of my leftovers, and I have some available.
This is what I want right here.
If I lost it all and I had to start from scratch, here's what I do to get back to 6 figures a year in 4 steps. So step.
This is what I want to do.
Broccoli. Is that broccoli? I just the first thing season that they have it. Where they need to get. I do it like a lot.
DIY.
Stay tuned for the gardening section. All right, hello everybody.
All right,
Welcome to
what's up,
Mystic
lady?
Hawk Gardens, and I
That's
have a
crystals
special
for
treat
your
you
garden.
guys.
Let's
I'm
go.
I needed to till in my garden. And
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Rockin' Crystals channel, and today we are going to be taking a look at some of the best crystals that you can find for your garden. Because when spring comes, many people look forward.
Hey guys, I'm here in my recycled window greenhouse. I do another video on this if you're interested, but today I really would like to talk about fungus gnats. About 5 years ago, I did another video on a solution that I found for the fungus gnats. And I'm so happy to report to you that it's been 5 years completely fungus gnat free, 100% working. And right before I get into it, I do want to assure you that I have tried so many things. I know we've heard about a lot of solutions out there. Just to name a few: yellow sticky traps, sand mulch, gravel mulch, taping the soil, hydrogen peroxide, cinnamon, coffee, essential oils, diatomaceous earth, antifungal herb teas to drench the soil with, BT, hot pepper spray, steel wool and copper wool to like top dress, that soil with so they can't get out, forced drought, not enough water, vinegar traps, yeast traps. I think I used the heat of a blow dryer once to try to kill them in the first few inches of soil, and even neem oil itself. And some of these things really helped, but none of them eradicated the gnats at all. Nothing was totally successful. In fact, most of those things on the list were just really an absolute joke. But hey, you got to try something once, right? So today, I'm going to tell you the absolute solution that I've found, and that is simply neem cake. This comes in a couple of different forms. Some things look a little bit more like pellets. Some orders look a little bit more ground up, but either one should work. And the beautiful thing about neem cake is what you're going to do is make a neem tea with it. So you pretty much steep it in water and use that water to drench the soil of your plants, because that is where the gnats live. That's where they breed, and that's where their eggs and larvae are. And it just works to kill them off, as well as the adults.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Rockin' Crystals channel, and today we are going to be taking a look at some of the best crystals that you can find for your garden. Because when spring comes, many people look forward to being in their gardens, especially after a long winter. Even if you don't know much about gardening, it can be pretty easy to get started as long as you stick with plants that are easy to grow and give them adequate water and fertilizers, organic plant foods, and composting can give your plants an extra boost to survive and to thrive. Some of the people like to sing their plants or put statues and gnomes and fairies and gardens and other such things, such as feng shui techniques can help to create a good energy in the garden, and you can learn which plants grow best together to create that special sort of synergistic harmony. Because crystals can also be used as a part of your gardening endeavors. You can use crystals to bring specific energies into your garden and help your plant.
Listen to this. You gotta wait for this part.
I've gone for routine blood work and discovered.
Hello and welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Courtney, and today's video is all about crystals and plants. I have slowly been collecting more houseplants, and I have been loving experimenting with certain crystals for certain plant needs. I thought this would be a fun video to kind of share what I've discovered with these plant and crystal combos. So in today's video, I'm going to go over 6 crystals that'll help your plants live their best life.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to
Hello, everybody.
Today we are going to be taking a look at some of the best crystals that you can.
We're too far lost, I think. Here we go.
Well, this is the next step in experimenting with some electroculture and some magnet culture in my garden. Today I'm going to be making 3 different types of aerials, and we're going to see how they affect growth in the garden. There are quite a few different options available for putting some kind of aerial or some kind of magnetic force in your garden. And I'm going to do the 3 probably most common settings. And I'm going to put them in 3 different garden beds. And I have currently got some mustard seeds that I have sprinkled in as a green crop. The upside to them is they're kind of blanket sown across all 3 garden beds that I'm going to be trying this in. and they've all been in the exact same amount of time. So it'll be really fascinating to see if this has any influence. Stick around to the end to see the first week's update. The first aerial I'm making is probably the most complex. I have used these extendable fishing poles. They're made from a fiberglass product. These are particularly cheap ones that I got from AliExpress, and they extend officially up to 6 meters. But when you extend them all the way out, the tips are very, very bendy.
Yeah.
So I've only extended them probably about 3 or 4 meters, and I have the joints keep slipping down. So I'm going to tape those so that they don't keep slipping down, just with some really strong black tape. It's essentially like an electrical tape, but it's quite a bit bigger. And then once they're all nice and secure, I have got here some copper wires, and I just again got these really cheaply on AliExpress. And I'm just going to cut those in half so I have enough of them to make one of these aerials. Now, if this was a long-term project, I think I would use some kind of hose clamp or something to attach these at the bottom. But as it's only an experiment, I'm going to use some more of this black tape, which does hold up surprisingly well for a good season or two outside.
Well, you have
So I'm going to tape these, and then when you spread the wires out, you just need to kind of make them look relatively even. Some people add spirals and all sorts of things to this. Some people add a directional magnet to it. This is just going to be a bog standard, really basic, pointy hedgehog looking thing. Now I just need to attach a piece of wire that's insulated so it's not going to short out all the way down the pole. So I have some insulated, I think it's wire for doing car electrics. Anyway, I'm going to run that down the pole, attach it to the copper at the top, and leave a snake of it at the bottom that I'll be able to hook up to eventually a piece of galvanized wire that I'm just going to run along the length of the bed. The theory with the really tall antennas is that they push right up into the areas that have got high voltage up in the sky, and they join the earth all the way up there and allow a flow of electrons. And the reason it has so many tiny little pointy bits on the top is the pressure gets smaller and smaller and tighter up there, and it allows them to pop off the end. And that can create a current flow, which I find really interesting, that it can be so passive but so effective. I have watched a video of someone sending a drone up with a very small antenna and a very fine wire, and they managed to get enough current to run a couple of little very basic engines down on the earth. So I'll link to one of those down below because I found them really interesting. And when it comes to installing this, I have these waratahs all the way around the garden holding up this fence. Waratahs, they're also known as T-posts or Y-posts. A lot of places call them different things. Anyway, I'm going to zip tie this onto here, partly because I know it's nice and stable, and partly because it saves me digging a hole. I've just run this piece of galvanized wire along the garden. It's not pointing particularly north and south. It's probably pointing sort of a northwest to southeast sort of direction. My gardens unfortunately don't run perfectly north to south, but this is on the southern end of that, pointing towards the northern end. It's just not running perfectly north-south. And I don't know a great deal about these voltmeters, but I decided to stick it on millivolts and see what comes up. And as you can see, there's a definite difference between the earth and the wire coming down from the pole. So at the end of this video, I'll show you where we're at with the mustard growing around these wires 1 week on. The second aerial I'm going to make is one that you see a lot in social media at the moment, and it is the one that I'm most dubious about whether it would actually work. There's a lot of discussion whether if you're in the northern hemisphere, you're supposed to wind it clockwise, and if you're in the southern hemisphere, you're meant to wind it anti-clockwise. But no one says whether that's from the bottom looking up or from the top looking down. I've listened to a few lectures from Van Dorn. He's a lot more about this electroculture than I do. He says that anything curling up should work because there are energy fields that go both ways, and it doesn't matter if you're in the northern hemisphere or the southern hemisphere. But either way, I'm pretty sure I have wound this anti-clockwise from the top. From the top down is anti-clockwise, pretty sure. And all it is a garden stake. It's not very long. It might be 3 foot long. And some soft copper wire that I have. And I just started at the top, pointed it out, wound it down, and left a bit of wire out the bottom that I can poke in the ground. Now to install it, all I did was rammed it in the end of the garden bed and poked the copper wire into the ground beside it. The theory with this aerial is that it just kind of gathers the energy that's around it and allows there to be some flow from the top to the bottom. I don't quite understand, like the big tall aerial, that science makes sense to me. This little short copper one, it seems a little woo-woo. So that's why I'm not sold on it, but it'll be really interesting to see what the results are. Now, interestingly, it's the one I was most dubious about it working, but it is the one that makes the biggest difference on the voltmeter. So I'll be fascinated to see how it affects the plant growth. I know it's not very tall, and again, also we've got these trees along past this other big aerial as well. So I'm not sure how the trees are going to affect things, or if they will at all. I'm hoping they're far enough away that these will still be effective. And the third and final aerial that I'm doing is a magnetic one. I've got these little round magnets that have got a hole through the middle. I've marked which way is south, which if you've not done that before, all you need to do is grab a compass and sit it on your hand, point the magnets towards it, and whichever end of your magnet that the north end of your compass points to, that is the south end of the magnet, and then you can just mark it with a white dot. So to stop these getting lost in my garden, I have used some of that black tape again and just taped it together. And other than that, all I need is a length of this galvanized wire and a compass to tell me which way is north. I have started with the magnets. They are with the end with the white dot, which is the south end, pointing towards magnetic north. So I've just set my cell phone down here because I forgot to bring my normal compass. And I'm lining them up so that the wire does run perfectly from south to north. So I've got the south end of the magnet pointing towards the north and the wire going through the magnets at the south end pointing towards the north. And then I've just had to peg it down because it kept trying to bend back up. And the thought with this magnetic one is that the galvanized wire is steel, and so it will magnetize all the way along the wire. And having seen how much magnets affect the growth of my seedlings, I really will be fascinated to see whether this magnetic wire all the way along in the garden affects the plant growth the same as well. The one thing with this is it's really important that you've got your magnets facing the right direction and that the wire is running directly north to south. Otherwise, the magnetism just won't work in the right direction, and it just generally won't work. So this is the one that you have to be quite accurate with your placement of things. So there are my 3 different aerials, and I have left them for a week, and I have come back with a camera to show you what difference I've noticed over a week. Now, you can see here with the one that I was most dubious about, there seems to be quite a marked line around it where the plants are doing significantly better. These are some plants from within that circle, and these are the plants just outside of that circle. There's quite a significant size difference, which is fascinating to me because I really didn't think this one was going to do anything. As for my big aerial that cost me more money and a lot more effort, and it looks way more impressive, the results aren't quite so obvious. There definitely does seem to be a bit more growth closer to the wire than away from the wire, and there is definitely some patches that are doing a lot better than other areas, but there are other areas that I would have thought it would have been more obvious. Overall, I think it's improved the growth, but I'm going to leave it for another week and let you know. And then my magnetic one, again, it does seem to be making a difference. But then there's another patch further along the bed that's also doing as well as the stuff up against the wire. But then in between it, there are some patches that aren't growing well. So I'm not 100% sure, but it does seem to be doing slightly better. In another week, I will do another update, so don't worry. It'll be fascinating to see whether this actually makes much of a difference. If you want some tips on getting your seeds out of the ground really quickly, check out this one on using some magnets underneath your seedlings and which way.
Yeah, they all need to be about 6 inches underground is how it really works. And that wire, that's why she's not getting great results with her high rise antenna, is because that wire needs to be at least 6 inches in the ground. You know, we got ours real long, and it needs to be compassed to the south. Like it literally needs to be compassed. And then you put that bitch, and then you plant that motherfucker right south. It's not fucking south plus 1 fucking degree, 1 minute south. west, you know, it's right south, as best as you can humanly possibly get it, and then 8 inches deep. You know, you can even take another, you know, what's it called? Thin little piece of what's it called? Bamboo, and jab it straight down deep, you know. Yeah. But you want it down. You want to jab it down in there. At least 6 inches. You want to plug it in. That's what I talk about all the time. You want to plug it in. If you don't plug it in, it won't work. If you don't put it to the right direction, it's not going to, the power won't be as strong. You know, you saw she was using the voltmeter there, right? So it's adding electricity where I think the earth was only like
0.6 or something.
6 or something, and then she did with the electriculture, and it was almost 10.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was almost 1.0 EC without no EC.
It's like went from double to triple digits sometimes and things like that. Like, I don't know how to read those. I don't know anything about them,
if she put crystals in her area, especially quartz, that would intensify that EC in the soil, right? Now, if you add different healing crystals, cheers, country bread. If you add a couple healing crystals in there, now your shit should be rocking on good levels all the time. You know, we got to get more of the healing crystals in there. We got a lot of all good intentional crystals, right? So you just basically go in there and tell what you need. But I would like some more specifics, you know. Cheers, Austin. What's happening?
Hey, Austin.
We're learning about crystals and shit, man. I'm gonna take this old lady here on a bike ride that she ain't never gonna forget.
Oh my goodness, you're scaring me. You know I can't ride that well.
I know you can ride really well,
I can't ride that well. Not a bike.
She rides like we're at a rodeo, and it's 8 seconds.
Oh my god!
Did you guys see that fucking bull?
Nope.
Bro, this is the wildest bull ever ridden, they said. And it's huge. It's this big, huge white bull. White or gray. It looks white to me. And this motherfucker, bro, it jumps like 6 feet in the fucking air. They said no wonder no one could stay on for more than 3 seconds.
Hell no. Wow.
The first jump out of the gate is about 3-4 feet off the air. And then once it hits the ground, it literally is jumping over people's heads and then coming back down and buckling back, and like, you know, that
is one wild motherfucking bull.
Dude, and that coming down force and all that shit. Oh, but he jumps like LeBron James, bro.
Well, you know
he's
what?
Jumping over 6 feet in the air, dude. A bull.
I don't know.
Over
I think
1,000 pounds, and then when it's come down, it's buckling these fucking cowboys, bro, and they fall off, knocked out, just knocked out, bro.
That's scary. All those crazy sports are so scary to me. Besides, like, you know what? As far as I'm concerned, it serves you right if you're gonna fucking treat a fucking animal like that, tie it up and get it like uncomfortable, so uncomfortable that it's thrashing. Fuck that.
Male plant
Leave
was
the
a
goddamn
hermie
thing
male,
alone.
so took weed, whacker to it, like high again. You guys are like high again. Hey, at least you don't talk about girl boss, bro. Shit. But yeah. KJ was all broken up about it. He's like, what? No, man, my plant was a hermie. I'm like, bro, it's a male, first of all. You know? Shit. Hey, Amber, I see your hand.
Hi.
What do you think, lady? You want to go for a bike ride?
Okay.
Before it gets freezing?
Too bad.
Yeah. So we looked up some electrical shit, and don't worry, this is just a precursor to freaking Friday, Frequency Friday. I'm going to come back after I feed him and maybe feed her, and then we're going to do Frequency Friday, and it's going to be called Frequency Friday Crystals, really? Question mark. And I'm going to say, really, crystals. And then we're going to look it up. We're going to watch a lot of the stuff we just watched. We're going to write them down, though, this time. You know, somewhere I probably got them written down shit, but we're going to write them down so we can figure out which crystal does what for each plant-specific ailment and thing. Some, they say, can prevent your bugs. High frequency to prevent your bugs. High frequency to get your plant healed and shit. Now I use quartz for that. Now indoors, I don't have quartz in my shit. I got zeolite, you know, but I guess I didn't intentionally tell my zeolite to do anything except retain that water.
Yeah.
Retain that fucking water, baby. So, but outside, you know, we got all that. Our plants they don't suffer outside. Never. They just grow. Grow, baby, grow.
Once they start, they do real well. It's
baby,
just
grow.
them to get going.
Now we're in New Mountains. We're different. Permaculture. Permaculture is a whole different ball game, baby. We know this one like the back of our hand, and you can keep adding new shit to it every year. You find rabbit poop and deer poop. You know, just throw it in the pile, man. Throw it right in there, man. You know, what did the stranger send me? Oh shit. Oh, I sent you Old Blood Eyes, and that's the Scarlet Harlot that's outside times sour grape sherbet. And then I sent you an Obi-Wan Kenobi F2. So it's Obi-Wan number 2 napalm times Obi-Wan number 5 or 1 or some shit. I forget. Collected on 6/2/2222 2022 6222. Right? Specifically, that was a powerful date to collect those beans. So that shit should be fire. Yeah, Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan. Oh, watch. You'll be like, Obi-Wan, he's so happy. Wait till we get to Old Blood Eyes. Wait till you get that one here and be like, bro, what the fuck did you just send me? Wait till you get to Obi-Wan, though.
He's like, a Star Wars nerd. Fuck yeah, bro. Well, I mean, you came to the right place for some amazing Star Wars strains.
The first one I said, Old Blood Eyes, that's Leia times Kylo Ren times sour grape sherbet, which is orange sherbet, yellow sherbet, green sherbet, purple sherbet, every sherbet you can fucking think of, and grape ape mixed together makes sour grape sherbet. There's all this sunset sherbet, orange sherbet, and a couple other things, and then grape ape.
It's just the sherbet harlot.
Yeah, sour grape sherbet. Yeah. Sour, and it's that shit, man. The sour grape sherbet. When you open a bag of that, bro, your whole house smells like grape, like strong, like grape. You don't even gotta burn it. For real. And the other one's Leia times. Yeah, I'm calling it Old Blood Eyes, because that's what you're gonna be. Leia times Kylo is some shit, bro. That's some really good fucking weed. I love that shit. You'll see Scarlet Harlot. She's out there. We got 3 fucking very nice specimens. Going to be indoor with them babies. Yeah, man. Whatever you want to do. Grow them where you want. Grow them where you want, man. They're both brand new strains. Obi-Wan is F2. And the Old Blood Eyes is F1s. I just made the Old Blood Eyes.
We got one out there, right?
No, I don't have one out there.
Oh, we don't have one out there. No. Oh, I thought that
I only have the Scarlet Harlot.
That's what I was thinking.
Scarlet Harlot is Leia times Kylo Ren. Right? So when I say that, remember I had like fucking 18 of them bitches or fucking 40 some fucking clones, bro. So I put a whole bunch of them in a breeding project because I know the pheno, right? I know the strain. There's no other kind. It's just this one thing. That's it. It was one plant and I cloned it and continues to clone it and keep it around. And then once I find keeper males, bro, once I find some good shit, keeper shit, I throw it on that motherfucking Leia times Kylo because she deserves everyone's love. I'm telling you, I want to see what she can make possible out of something else. Every time I'll throw it on and let's try that one. I got her times chronic, her times sour grape sherbet, her times something else, her times something else. You know, whatever all those damn plants I was breeding with, I can't remember now. There's a whole bunch of them. But yeah, we got a bunch. We got that one time gelato split, you know. Shoo. You're gonna smoke this shit and be like, yo, Twisted don't have booth, bro. I want you to tell the world, Twisted does not smoke. If this is what the fuck Twisted's beans are, and this is what the fuck he's growing and smoking, yeah, this shit ain't booth. Shit belongs famous is what it is, bro. If I had a bigger crew, I'm telling you, we would all be getting famous. I'd be like, here, you take this one, you take that one, bro. Let's get this shit popping. It would be off the hood. Outlaw name. Old. He said Old Blood Eye sounds like an outlaw name. Funny you should say that. Funny you should say that.
No funny.
So there's this game I play. And as you're walking through the world, it's not just something you normally can do, right? You got to get close to this one specific thing, and it will say, pick up the bottle. You can walk around it 50,000 times if you're not looking right at the thing, you know, because there's a million bottles. There's like just this one. And you pick it up. It's an outlaw game. It's an outlaw game. And you pick it up, and it says, Old Blood Eyes. And I was like, dude, I'm totally calling that fucking strain it, dude.
Is that what that bottle says?
Yeah.
I pick up the bottle, but I forgot what it says.
Old Blood Eyes.
That's great. I didn't
Old Blood Eyes, man.
I mean, I guess I didn't remember it said that. Yeah, it's
man, you sitting there. Red Dead.
Red Dead.
Man, you're sitting there all fucked up. People come in and shit. You got this little split burning and shit. You're fucking dirt. Eyes gone, bro. They be like, yo, man. Yo, little homie, what are you smoking? And you look up. You look up and your eyes are gone, bro. You're so red. You go, Old Blood Eyes. And they said, I can see that shit. Because that shit, bro, the sour grape sherbet by itself from Young You, Next Level Fire, right? That shit is bomb by itself. Like, that shit's fucking fire, right? Mixed with the Leia times the Kylo, the fucking Scarlet Harlot. Oh, shit. Because it's like, I don't even know how sweet it's really going to be. That's why you got to grow it out and see, man. I wish I would have grown some of that this year. I had all that. You know, I planted like 300 some fucking seeds. I got 12 plants. I am the ultimate plant killer. I killed them all. All of them. Some didn't pop. Some popped and were males. Some went to breeding projects. Some got split up because some were F2s. Like, we did a lot of Obi-Wan Kenobis. Like, we did lots of shit. Like, we did lots of things that I wanted to see what we could find and possibly put into an F2 or mix with something else, right? Because I got a fucking, not a whole lot. Like, there's some breeders out there, dude, that got fucking so much pollen, you wouldn't fucking believe how much male pollen they're storing of gems, right? So I got really good shit. I got Ohio skunk. You know, I got a good skunk pollen, bro, but ain't no one getting it. It's my secret. It's not like I don't tell you about it secret. It's my secret thing that none of you can have. And I'll tease y'all with it. Right? But that's what sets my shit apart. When I say it's got skunk in there, or Ohio skunk, there ain't no Sweet Island, nothing. There ain't no somebody made that shit on YouTube and it's fucking got a fucking kind of a skunk and kind of a nothing. No, this is rat, skunk, fuck, piss, fucking roadkill, smell up your whole stinking house from the fucking 80s skunk, bro. Right? So we got that pollen. We got blueberry pollen from the 70s, right? For real, right? We got Obi-Wan pollen. We got this, we got that, we got everything. We got so much Afghan Kush pollen. Like, Goliath grower and I have so much Afghan Kush pollen that's not fucking funny. It's stupid. I like destroyed most of my shit because I had so much. Dude, I had pails of the shit. Pails. This plant was huge. And it produced that produced more pollen on a plant. It looked literally like, you ever see out in the forest when the trees, the pine trees are filled with motherfucking pollen, and all of a sudden something shakes the tree and all that pollen drops. Bro, did you guys see me when I was live shaking that motherfucking Afghan Kush, bro? Holy shit. Damn. There was more pollen that came off. And I collected it. I was collecting for weeks before I shook that bitch. And then I shook it 3 more times, and then, you chop. I only pollinate for 3 days. That was a masterpiece, bro. We got all kinds of different pollens, man. I think we got different kinds of blueberry pollens. I don't have a lot of my kinds of pollens. I have specific marker pollens, like male markers, right? Like blueberry, skunk, shit like that. Afghan, where I know exactly what the fuck's gonna go down when I breed with that shit. Boom. I put that on something, I know it's about to come out based on the female of whatever strain it is. You know what I'm saying? Like for real. So it's pretty dope. Yeah, pollen, man. What I've been doing now, though, because pollen is kind of hard to fuck with, dude. It's not hard. It's a process. So don't make things hard when it is a process. Do your steps, right? Make sure when you need to get this shit done, make sure it ain't gonna be your lazy day. Make sure it ain't gonna be the day where you smoked a bunch of weed, you gotta sleep all fucking day, and you don't feel like doing it. Because when you gotta collect pollen, you gotta collect fucking pollen. They ain't no tomorrow. Your shit's gonna be moldy. You're gonna have mold on your fucking male plant if that pollen sits too long in moisture, right? So you gotta collect your male pollen. Then you gotta get it out of there, away from your female safely, right? Then you gotta dry it. Most people they don't realize it. And that's living plant material. I know it looks like powder to you. That's because we're big. If we were tiny, that would be like a fluffy Kush pillows and juicy for something tiny, dude. They would have like Cheeto pollen all over their face if they were to suck and eat on it, It'd be like Cheetos all over them and shit. So that's wet plant material. So you got to dry it out. And you got to do that contained without blowing all over the fucking place. And then you got to store it, and then store it correctly where no more moisture gets inside the container, and then put that inside the freezer, So it's all kinds of, and that's for long storage. You only put pollen in the freezer, guys, for 10-year storage. If you're about to use that shit in the next 3 to 5 years, keep that motherfucker out, bro. Cool, dry container, cool, dry environment, but you have to dry it. What do I always tell you guys? I preach this to everybody. Cure and dry properly. If you fuck it up continuously, keep trying. Keep doing it. Keep doing that shit. The cure and the dry is more important than fucking anything. People could take their fucking bomb weed and turn it into boof, cured and drying. Drying and cured, right? Just fucking simple fact. Right, so make sure you get that dry and cure proper on that fucking on that pollen. Here's this most important part, people. Don't cure dry and cure your pollen, and then all of a sudden it's a moist, humid fucking day, and you're jarring up your pollen to go put in the fridge. You just jarring up a fucking atmosphere of humidity. There's gonna be clouds in there, bro. That pollen's about to come back to life, like for real, in a way that's be a science project. Now, when you put it in the freezer, if you don't leave it out, you put it in the freezer, it's gonna all that humidity in that fucking jar that you just bottled up of humidity, air. I know you don't feel it because we're disconnected. We totally are, but I feel it. I put your tongue out. You know it's out there, right? And shit, you got to test for that shit. We're reptilian, you know that, right? So you got to test for the humidity. Make sure the humidity is right. Get your damn humidity thing that you guys put in your grow tent. Same thing, bro. You don't think that works out here? You don't think that works? You don't think that will work in your backyard? You don't think it'll work in your basement? Well, you don't want to think it'll work in your girlfriend's butt crack? It'll work everywhere, bro. I'm just saying it's a humidity gauge. Humidity temperature. It's going to tell the time, motherfucker. What's up?
Oh, no.
It's going to tell you what it is. So you put that on the table and you make sure when your shit's dried and cured properly, your pollen, that it's a dry fucking day. Either if it's not a dry day, you pump a heater on in a room. Pump a heater on in a small room and get that bitch hot and dry. And then you go in that room. And that's when you jar it up, lit it up. You know what I'm saying? It should be open the whole time. It should be open this whole time. The whole time when you're drying and curing, the pollen's a wide ass open. Now you put a piece of cotton over the top so it don't blow away if you wanted to. That's what a lot of people do. Whatever your prerogative is for that. Might be in its own contained room, dry room, right? Where no pollen can ever escape. No wind's blowing, right? And you know how those clean rooms are, right? And then you want to jar it up and then put it away with no humidity in that fucking jar. That's the easiest way to ruin your pollen. If you go for your pollen and your pollen is either chunky or dark yellow, it's not viable.
That sounds gross anyway.
Well, it's because it got wet. It got moist. I've done it. Everybody's done it. We've all did this. Don't let people tell you suck because you had a failure once.
You learn from those, man.
If you don't fail, you don't learn a goddamn thing. Look at all these people sitting around trying to teach you dumbass shit that they don't know a fucking thing. You know why? Because they ain't never failed. They ain't never tried something to fail before. They're just doing what everyone told them to do. You know what I'm saying? So you got to trial and error, trial and error, trial and error, trial and error. If 20,000 people tell you that something works, but for you it's not working, keep asking them, how am I doing? What am I doing wrong? How do I do it? Why is it working for you, not me? They got the fucking truth. They got the answer. They'll figure it out. So that's for everything. Every situation, treat it like that. You know, if everyone says, yo, crystals grow plants, and other motherfuckers that you guys think are cool say, no, they don't. Well, let's go with all these other people that say they do, and let's go. Let's challenge their knowledge. Ask them what they know. How do you know? Prove it. Show me proof. Now, you got to be respectable, though. You know what I mean? And that's the key. You can't go over there bullying everybody. No one wants to be bullied. When you're respectable and you ask questions and because you're curious and interested, does this really work? What if you could, what if you could not spend so much money on your nutrients because you literally are powering your shit with crystals and different things like that, and it really fucking is working? What if you could do that? And it's simple. You just put motherfucking crystals. Rocks. These are crystals. I know to you guys they look like rocks. These are crystals. This is motherfucking, this is the grower stone right here, mouse agate. You just put these in there, and I even spoke of a crystal grid. That's what I was talking about. Crystal grids, making crystal grids, man. In your soil base, right at the base of your plant. It's just how you do it. It's how I roll. It's how lots of people roll, and it does really work. And we'll be back there. That's the one step you don't want to mess up on. It's dry and cured. Yeah, I got different kinds. I don't got a lot. Like the Afghan is the most I got. Like that was a lot. I stopped collecting and started just throwing the shit away because I was like, dude, this is way too much. I sent some to people somewhere. I don't fucking know who, where. I can't remember. There's so many. There's so many people, bro. Like I like look, 9 people, 7 people. I can remember you guys. If I had 3,000 people or 300 people, let alone, the chat would be going so fast I couldn't read it, and I would remember nobody. Shit, man. I use too many crystals, bro. Reprogramming my brain to see your energy, not your crystal. or your name, your human name. I feel your energy, is what it is. But that's what it is. I keep certain specific things in pollen form, and I collect tissue cultures, and I put them in the freezer, right? So later I just pull them bitches out, run it through the tissue culture, get it in the auger, and that bitch will grow me the plant. It'll grow me a new male. I got females and males. That's the most important thing. People just slipping on. Like they're so far ahead of us in the game of tissue culture that they've gotten so many bomb ass shit in tissue culture, bro, that down 2060, year 2060, bro, they're gonna pull out brand new shit on our asses that we ain't even never thought of, because they're gonna splice genes in their tissue culture list together, and it's gonna be some crazy ass shit we ain't never even flavored before. Imagine splicing. You know how they got like apple lime, orange cherry. Like, watch, they'll be splicing weed like that, bro. Splicing it like you taste just like it. Bam. Hell yeah. All right, man. Before I keep rambling, peace out. Join us next time on Frequency Friday. Get your freak on.